Good morning and welcome. Welcome to CSL Greater Boston. I'm Rev Gina and I am so blessed to be here with you today. Welcome. Welcome to our beloved community. I am excited to share with you today. We have a new topic. It's a new month. And our topic is this month is playing with paradox. And today is infinite possibilities. So we're going to go into what does that mean? What does that look like? And really being in a place of allowing anything to be possible. What could that look like? What could that feel like? So I am so grateful that you are here today. Imagine being able to truly accept, embrace, comprehend, and thrive upon infinite possibilities. So that's what we're going to do today. And before we do that, I want to tell you a little bit about our beloved community. For those of you that may be new, our vision is CSL Greater Boston is an inclusive community based on love and acceptance that is a healing presence for all, joyful connection, activities, and education. Our mission is a spiritual community that lovingly embraces all races, ages, abilities, genders, and the celebration of diversity through the practice of science and mind teachings and the principles for the betterment of each individual and the oneness of all. And our purpose will we bring about positive change within individuals and the world by teaching and embodying science of mind teachings and principles and carrying them out into the world. We do this, we show up as love to the best of our ability on any given day. That's what we're here to do. And I'm so grateful that you're here with us. Welcome home. Wherever you are in the world, know that you have a home here. So today, I'm going to start with our first song by Eddie Watkins Jr. And it's What Would Love Do Now?
Just before you say something you can't take away, take a breath, then let it out. Try to think about what would love do now. Wondering if you should cross that line for good. Whatever you decide, ask yourself from inside, what would love do now? Everything is either an act of love or a cry for love. That's why for love we try for love. In the end, that's all we know that's real. Whether right or wrong doesn't matter, just as long as you let your heart decide. Ask yourself from inside, what will love do now? Everything is either an act of love or a cry for love. That's why for love we die for love. In the end, that's all we know that's real. Whether right or wrong doesn't matter, just as long as you let your heart decide. Ask yourself from inside, what would love do? Sing it from inside with me, y'all. What would love do now? Let me hear you sing it, people.
What would love do now?
Sing it one more time for me, y'all.
What would love
Do now. Thank you.
Yes, what would love do now? What a wonderful, what a wonderful way to ask. When I'm not feeling that love, when I'm angry or frustrated or seemingly against anything, to just take a breath and ask, what would love do now? What would that look like? And when we come to center again, that's the paradox that was there all along. So I'm going to bring in our lovely practitioner from Barbados, Sonia Hart. So grateful to have you here this morning to do our invocation and our reading. And I hand it over to you.
Thank you, Rev Gina. Good morning, CSL Greater Boston, and everyone who's joining us on the internet via Facebook or YouTube. It is at this moment that I'm going to ask you to close your eyes if you so desire and go within. Go within that holy place of holy places, into that inner chamber with the God of your understanding. God is all there is. God is the one mind. God is this creative mind, this mind that brings all into being, this mind that allows all possibilities to be possible, to become manifest. I am one with this mind. I am one with the creative mind of God. And as I know this for myself, I know this for each and every one of us present here today. And so I speak my word, knowing that there's just one mind, one creative power. And that power calls into being through our imagination all the things that we deserve, all the things imagined in the spiritual world as existing, but not yet manifested in the world of matter. And as I speak this word of power, of imagination, I speak this word knowing that all is well, that whatever is desired is made manifest right here and right now. Because it all starts in the one mind, that mind of imagination, that mind of creative nature. This is where it all starts. Through the power of our thought. And so I give thanks. I give thanks with a heart filled with gratitude for being in the oneness of this creative mind. I give thanks for each and every one of us for being in this oneness of this creative mind that allows us to have endless possibilities. And so I release this word knowing that it is done, it is always done consistently. And so it is. Thank you so much. My reading today is from Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard was a Barbadian mystic. And so it gives me great pleasure to read from Neville Goddard today. And this is from one of his letters at Fox Wilshire Theatre on Wilshire Boulevard. And I'm just going to read bits of it. As the world is, so is the individual. Should be changed to, as the individual is, so is the world. And I hope to be able to bring to each of you present the true meaning of the words of Zechariah. Speak ye every man the truth to his neighbor, and let none of you imagine evil in your hearts against his neighbor. What a wonderful challenge to you and to me. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a man imagines, so is he. Hold fast to love in your imagination. By creating an ideal within your mental sphere, you can approximate yourself to this ideal image till you become one and the same with it, thereby transforming yourself into it, or rather, absorbing its qualities into the very core of your being. Never, never lose sight of the power that is within you. Imaginative love lifts the invisible into that. Sorry. Imaginative love lifts the invisible into sight and gives us water in the desert. It builds for the soul its only fit abiding place. Beauty, love, and all of good report are the garden, but imaginative love is the way into the garden. Sow an imaginary conversation, you reap an act. Sow an act, you reap a habit. Sow a habit, you reap a character. Sow a character, you reap your destiny. By imagination, we're all reaping our destinies, whether they be good, bad, or indifferent. Imagination has full power of objective realization, and every stage of man's progress or regression is made by the exercise of imagination. I believe with Williams Blake, what seems to be is to those to whom it seems to be, and is productive of the most dreadful consequences to those to whom it seems to be, even of torments, despair, and eternal death. By imagination and desire, we become what we desire to be. Let us affirm to ourselves that we are what we imagine. And here ends my reading from Neville Goddard. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. And of course, there's only one mind. And that one mind knew that the next song was going to be imagination. So it's the pure imagination and imagine. So it's both your invocation and your reading is around imagine. So imagination is exactly the one mind. So thank you. Perfect. It
That's
just works out.
awesome.
It is.
That
And
is
it's
so
a
awesome. Yes.
it is
One
a wonderful.
mind.
Absolutely. Both beautiful songs coming together in one. Look at that possibility. And it's going to be, it's performed by the Mile High Choir. So
Oh,
enjoy. Imagine
wow.
and enjoy.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. above us on the sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Ooh. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You want to simply look around and view it. Anything you want, do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. Nothing to kill or die for. A brotherhood of men. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. No, 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 no. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. No, 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 no. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one. Thank you.
Infinite possibilities. Yes, that we all come together and live as one. That is definitely the possibility that I choose. Oh. So let me ask you, as we step into this new month of playing with paradox, and we do this to try to come to this place of living out loud in a new way. To create a world that works for everyone, we have to see and know everyone. It's not just what I like or what I think. Being in the world, understanding that everyone has their preferences. And I don't have to understand them or even necessarily like them, but we're all here together in this oneness. And me against anything keeps me stuck and unhappy. So when we think about our lives and we look at different topics, I know in the United States right now, there's a lot of seeming division in different ways, whether it's politics or whether it's, people, whether the rich versus the poor or wherever it may be, social economics, all of that stuff seems to separate. It's important that we remember that there is only one. That it doesn't matter what you look like or I look like, you're my brother and you're my sister. So I want to say, of course, we're live, so any questions or comments that you have. Good morning, Raul. Wonderful to have you here. Thank you for being with us. Wherever you are, we'd love to hear from you. So I ask you, is there anything that you believe in so strongly that you don't even want to hear the other side? Maybe you're an advocate for social rights, and I know I am, and I have my beliefs. And I'm asking, is there anything that you're so strong in that you don't even want to hear it? There can't be another side to it. There are topics that seem so outrageous, almost inhumane to some. And yet in other cultures and in other people, it's not. It's what they believe, it's what they feel, it's what they were raised with, it's who they are. So it's learning how to be open-minded enough to listen and come to a common ground. Everything is about our perspective. You'll notice if you look at the United States and you look at different views, oftentimes there's geographical prevalence in one area versus another. So when you ask that question and say, okay, well, how does this work and why? And because there's different beliefs. Some of who you are is from what you were taught and how you were raised. Some of it is how what you stepped out into the world and see. There's no wrong. The irony of all of this is there's no wrong. That there's nothing that we could possibly do that spirit would not love us just the same. And that's a tough thing to comprehend, especially when we see things that seem outrageous. So this month we are really stepping into and playing with paradoxes. And what could that look like? And how do I wrap my head around that? How do we come to a common ground to make change? And that could be in our communities, that could be where we live, that could be in the world. How do we come to that common space, that loving space? So I want to start with, well, what is a paradox? The word paradox comes from Greek para, meaning contrary to, and doxa, meaning opinion. So the Latin term paradoxon, seemingly absurd, but really true. Or Brene Brown's version is beautiful too. The appearance of contradiction between two related components. So it's two different sides and it seems like it's different. Have you ever had an argument with someone and they are there and they're fighting tooth and nail and you hear it and you really listen and you're like, we're saying the same thing, we're just saying it differently. Sometimes it happens that way, that we're stuck in our own beliefs. Einstein said everything is relative. That time is not linear. Everything that happens is the eyes that I see through. It's what I'm bringing to it in any circumstance. When I come to something with an open heart, I will understand. When I come to something and I already know the answer, I can't understand. So when we step into life on any given day, are we showing up open-minded? Are we showing up as love? As Eddie Watkins said, everything is either an act of love or a cry for love. And yes, that's the paradox. That there's love there no matter what. How is it showing up for you? Whether you have a coin and it's heads or tails, it's still the coin. So it's all still love because that's all there is. Spirit is all there is. When we say there's good here, Emma Curtis Hopkins, and we're demanding that we want to see it, You know, it's really being in the mindset of understanding that yes, there is good here, and I'm looking for it now. I'm open to it in every way. And when we step into a life that way, things change. Being against keeps us stuck, but being in the midst of can change things. So, what is a paradox mindset? It's the ability to hold and consider two seemingly opposing ideas at the same time. While we tend to believe that being pulled in opposite directions will cause stress, studies have shown that when we can embrace this tension and step into paradoxical thinking, people are more creative, flexible, and productive. Imagine when we're in a place of open mindedness, when we're listening, ideas can flow. Don't we step into brain search? For me, I get it, brainstorming. Every time that we vision, it's almost like a brainstorming session. But it's not just our brain. We're actually allowing people, we're allowing spirit to speak through us. And we're hearing spirit through each one that's doing that visioning with us. What a wonderful gift that is. So it's learning how to allow that voice. And there's another concept that's similar to brainstorming to me, and I had never heard it before. It's actually Januszian thinking, which is, of course, from the Roman god Janus of transitions and duality. And Januszian thinking is the practice of actively conceiving and using multiple opposing thoughts or constructs simultaneously to solve problems. When we come up against a challenge, obstacle, or problem, our instinct is to push against it. Januszian thinking suggests that rather than finding one solution, we open ourselves up to multiple possibilities and ways of thinking. It calls us to shift from our limited perspective of the world to take in ideas, perspectives, and possibilities that we had never considered before. So, when we're building something or we're creating something, we think it's a great idea. Don't we often troubleshoot and say, okay, so what are the pros and cons? Okay, this is what we're seeing. Will it flow that way? How could this be taken another way? And I know, especially when we do this in leadership, you don't want to offend someone else, but you also want to know what could go wrong. And it's not that you want anything to, but it's a way of looking at another. Say, well, if you were planning an event, well, what if the weather that day, the weather isn't good? Okay, so what do we do? So there's a backup plan. Okay, so we could just go under this, or we could use so and so's house, or we could find another way, or it could be a rain delay. Whatever it may be, we get the opportunity to look at possibilities. And when we fail to plan, we plan to fail, oftentimes. When we're not paying attention to possibilities, that's where things can sometimes go wrong. So it's not about good or bad. We come to a place that we're realizing, again, there is no wrong. And when I first thought, or that really struck me as far as our beliefs go when it comes to science of mind or new thought in general. I wasn't even in the practice. I didn't even know what science of mind was yet. And I had listened to, actually on tape, Conversations with God with by Neil Donald Walsh. And I remember as I listened to this, every bit of it struck me as truth. Like there was something in me tingling, knowing that what this said, what I'm hearing is the truth. Now, it wasn't what I was raised with. Some of it was new concepts, some of it I always believed. And hearing it out loud, it felt like truth to me. So as I listened to this, there was one part that really struck me. And it's a part in there that basically says there is, no heaven or hell, which we don't believe in. We know that it's infinite. We are a part of the one. It's all energy, and you come from energy to energy, and you go back into that energy, the non-physical form of that energy, which is pure bliss, pure love. So we know that, love is eternal. Okay, that I believe. And even the concept, after being raised Catholic for, my whole life, even the concept of no heaven and hell really felt appropriate to me, because I know spirit is love and we have free will. How can you be given free will and then punished for doing what you chose? Again, made sense to me. You've got free will to live this life. I don't have to like what you do or what you say, but you have free will just like I have free will. So why would it be a punishment after this? And there's still some people and some things and atrocities that we look at and we can't even fathom that this could be okay in any way. Spirit loves us no matter what. Spirit in me, as me, is me. Therefore, even those people that are doing these things that I can't fathom, they too are love. There may be seeming blockages. They may have forgotten who they were, but they too are love. So it's either an act of love or a cry for love. So the line that really hit me in this, and I can't tell you how many times I've gone back to it, is he says, Hitler went to heaven. And I thought, oh, like I say it now and I get chills even saying it. Like, oh, how is that possible that the same place that, everyone that is kind, loving, that, Mother Teresa went, is the same place that Hitler went? How is that possible? How is that possible? And it really upset me when I heard it. When I think about it sometimes too, I just kind of takes me aback sometimes to remember there's only one. There can be no other. And if it was split against each other, that's division and duality. And I don't believe in duality. We know only oneness. So there is no wrong. And in our standards, in our beliefs, in our life, do I believe these atrocities are okay? Not at all. Not at all. We have a way that we live in society. We've decided this in common. And yet, hate only hurts me. Anger, resentment only hurts me. So it's learning that I don't have to agree with you, but it's listening and understanding and coming to not just a well informed opinion, but open minded enough to find the solutions. That's what we're here to be, open minded enough to find the solutions. Ernest Holmes said, the riddle of the universe is a paradox. The question is its own answer. For the mind that asks the question is also the mind that answers it. How's that? Think about it. When you're searching to find the answer of something and it comes to you, it's the one mind that I'm using. And that's where that same answer comes from. He also said that we need to develop a good natured flexibility. Nature demands this. For if the tree did not bend before the wind, it would break. We are apt to hold our thought so static that it finally becomes a habit, which destroys not only our mental happiness, but also the spiritual influx. So when I am stuck in what I believe, when I am stuck in saying, this is it, this is the way it has to be, I'm not even allowing spirit in. I'm not allowing divine communication. I'm not allowing that love to flow. Even though I'm seeing it as an act of love, it also is a cry for love. So it's really being in the understanding of openness, really allowing ourselves to understand that the infinite is energy and imagination. Ernest said in this thing called You, life is infinite energy coupled with limitless creative imagination. It is the invisible essence and substance of every visible form. Think about that. Creative imagination brought it forth. You know, when we open a center, the first thing it's always done is there's planning for that. And as we grow programs and all kinds of different things, there's planning for that. We bring it forth from that life force of energy and love. We say, okay, what is it that we want to do? What are we trying to achieve? Especially in spiritual communities. We are striving to be love, to invite as love, and to be in that place of connectedness. And we do that with things like brainstorming. We do that by coming together and listening to different people and understanding that different people have different needs and expectations. And what do we want it to be? And how do we get it there? And we allow spirit to infuse that love, that energy. And it's about sitting down and being with people and listening, because each person is an inlet and outlet of spirit. Each one of us is creating from that infinite possibilities. You know, we know thoughts are things, and what we focus on, we create. Think about the whole universe as, Play-Doh. We can, it's eyes to shape and mold, and above all, have fun with. That's what we're here to do, is to understand that not everything is a problem to solve. Some of it's just life. That everything is relative. And sometimes the best thing I can do is just lighten up. That when I'm angry and frustrated, I just hold something in place that I don't want. But when I'm open and loving, there's a flow to life that brings me all that's meant for me. Eckhart Tolle says, enlightenment is your natural state of felt oneness with being. It is a state of connectedness with something immeasurable and indestructible, something that almost paradoxically is essentially you, and yet it is much greater than you. So, spirit is me, but I am not all of it. I'm an individualized expression of it. Each one of us is that individualized expression of it. And we get that opportunity every day to be that, to realize anything is possible, and it may not all be now. That there is good, and as much as I demand to see it, sometimes things have to unfold. And that's where faith comes in, and knowing, trusting, allowing. Sometimes there's a bigger picture. Sometimes doors close so greater ones can open for us. And that could be in relationships, that can be in jobs, it can be in all kinds of things. I certainly wasn't thinking that when my car's engine at 6 years old just got paid off and, it's still new. I mean, the back seat looked like no one had ever sat in it. The engine completely cracked. Gone. Nothing. Worth nothing. So what do you do with that? And of course, it's the week before Christmas, and I am not seeing the good there. And today I'm driving a better car. Spirit knew what I would need. Within a few months from that, I would have really needed that better car. It's bigger than the old one was, it's much more reliable, and it's more comfortable. Spirit gave me an upgrade. In the moment, it didn't feel like that. So we have things that we may not understand, but our faith allows us to see the growth in that. You know, it's Ernest Holmes says, what we must avoid, however, is the confusion which arises from a belief in final revelations, from the belief that all truth is at last discovered, or that some point, some one person or some one system of thought has delivered the last word. There are no finalities in any science, philosophy, or religion. So he's saying we're open at the top. We hear it all the time in our philosophy. We are open at the top. We know that we don't know everything. Isn't that a gift? Not to everyone. Some people that might frustrate, but we don't know everything. I love that there's an infinite learning stream. I love that it's okay that I don't have to know it all. That's why we're lifelong learners in this philosophy. We don't read a book once and think that we know it and understand it to the nth degree. We study this philosophy. We practice this philosophy because we know the more that I read it, the more that I sit with it, the more that I understand it. Or as Rumi said, in order to understand the dance, one must be still. And in order to truly understand the stillness, one must dance. So I invite you to dance. Dance and play with this paradox this month. Understand that, we live in them anyway. It takes money to make money. Things like that, or even jumbo shrimp. We have paradoxes everywhere in our life. If we don't risk anything, there's no risk, there's no reward. So we have to be in a place of playful, joyful allowance. So let's really be in that dance this week. Let's look for places where in the past I may have known or thought I knew. And let's open it up and say, okay, what's mine to learn? So let's do that and let me know how it goes. I'd love to hear from you this week. We are so blessed to be able to be in a place where we can do that. And, CSLBoston.org to find out a little bit more about our center. And, it is so important that we remember that we are here on purpose, for a purpose. So let's play with that this week. Let's look at that and see what that's all about. Okay? And we're going to move on to our affirmation. And I invite you to say it with me. My mind is open to infinite possibilities. One more time. My mind is open to infinite possibilities. And so it is. So thank you for being here with me. The law of circulation states giving activates receiving. Yes, another paradox. Giving activates receiving because we're allowing that flow. When we give out, the nature of course of action, it must come back. It's just how it works. So I invite you to say our sacred affirmation with a sacred giving affirmation with me. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is. And there's wherever you're watching this, there's links to be able to give through Venmo or PayPal. What you give allows us to grow as a center. And remember, we are live next week. So we're going to have some fun in Medford, Mass. And I look forward to actually seeing your beautiful faces. And if you're online, we're always online as well. So thank you for being here with us. We really appreciate you as part of our loving community. And Thursdays are Sacred Circle at 7. So especially our online community, what a wonderful way to come together, for a sacred spiritual conversation and beloved community. So there's always, every week is a different topic and different spiritual leader. So Sacred Circle at 7 on Thursday evenings. It's always on our Facebook page. It's also, you can get the link in our weekly newsletter and go to cslboston.org to be able to sign up for that if you haven't already. So thank you for being with us and, really knowing that there is the infinite possibility and that spirit as you is meant to do amazing things and just living in that. I've known many people that were older but didn't seem old. And I've known many people that were young that seemed kind of old. It's not about an age thing, it's knowing that anything is possible. And before we get into our final song, I'm going to pray on that. Let's be in a place of knowing that, really embodying that infinite potential. So I invite you right here and right now to just take a breath, recognizing that spirit is both the breath and the breather. Spirit is love, light, peace, joy, harmony. Spirit is all the seen and unseen, all that is, was, and ever will be. There is no time or place, omniscient, omnipresent, and opulent. And knowing that that includes me. That includes our beloved practitioner Sonia in Barbados. It includes everyone all over the world, within my voice and beyond. Each one is an individualized expression of divine with infinite possibilities. There is no limit to the good Spirit offers. And I breathe in, knowing that the next breath is waiting when I need it. I take a step knowing there's always new ones to take after that. My mind is open. My perspective is set with spirit, fixing my eyes upon divine truth. My mind and my heart are open and joyful. And I know this of each one within my voice and beyond. I know perfect health, perfect flow, perfect beingness. That every cell, every atom, every bodily function, everything within this divine vessel that I've been given, and each one within my voice and beyond. I know only perfection, ease, comfort, and flow, vitality, vibrance, and effortless joy. Knowing that it is easy to live and thrive. My mind, my heart is open, and I know Spirit makes the way easy and clear. There is no force, there is no coercion, there is no seeming blockage. I let go of any doubt, any fear, any apprehension right here and right now. And I am open to every aspect of life. My mind, my heart is open. And I step into this abundance of infinite possibility, knowing that all good is my birthright. And I claim it for myself in each one. Financial overflow. Any seeming need is not just met, but flowingly, overflowingly filled. And knowing this truth, that there is plenty for everyone, that solutions are found in new and creative ways. This is a week of pure imagination, joyful, playing with possibility, and I am so grateful for it. So knowing this truth, knowing this love, this joy, knowing that it cannot come back void, I'm so grateful. I say thank you, thank you, thank you as I hand it to Spirit, giving it to the law to do what it does. Amen and blessed be. And together we say, and so it is. So thank you for being here with us. Thank you for celebrating with us. And I wish you a week of magic and miracles. Absolutely infinite possibilities. Knowing that, as this song says, anything is possible. And the song's actually Bethel Music with Dante Bowe. So I invite you to just listen and celebrate. Anything is possible.
There is no shadow that has ever overcome your life, and there is no rival that could ever stand against your might. You've always been with us. Every battle you've already won. No, you've already won. No weapon that has ever left a mark on you, and there is no army with the power to conquer truth. You've always been with us. Every battle you've already won. We've already won. Show me one thing he can't do. Show me a mountain he can't move. He's the God of the breakthrough, and anything is possible. Show me one thing that's too hard. Show me waters he can't part. He's the God of the breakthrough, and anything is possible. Is possible. There is a kingdom. It's advancing at the speed of light. And in his kingdom, every dead thing is bound to rise. Oh God, our Redeemer, he is faithful to revive. Oh, he will revive. Show me one thing he can do. Show me a mountain he can move. He's the God of the breakthrough, and anything is possible. Do you believe it? Show me one thing that's too hard. Show me water he can't part. He's the God of the breakthrough, and anything is possible. All of my fear I will turn into praise. Shake off your name, a victory dance. I will dance out in faith. I will crush disappointment and break every chain.